Welcome back to the Sabertooth versus Gorilla Grodd battle and who will win. Before we dive into the analysis, please remember to subscribe to my channel to support me. Thank you very much.
In the turbulent world of Sabertooth, the name Victor Creed always evokes the haunting image of a relentless predator. He is not only a mutant with superior strength, but also the embodiment of primal instincts pushed to the extreme. From birth, Creed lived with uncontrollable wild urges, which made him different and more terrifying than any other human. His childhood was overshadowed by violence and abuse from his own father, a dark past that contributed to shaping a distorted and warped mind. From that pain, Sabertooth gradually transformed into a true hunter, not only killing for survival, but also finding pleasure in torture and destruction. The connection between him and Wolverine further highlights their haunting contrast. While Wolverine constantly struggles to retain his humanity, Sabertooth completely abandons all moral boundaries, embracing his beastly nature. This is what makes the two fated brothers, bound together by hatred and endless confrontations. Sabertooth joined the Marauders under the manipulation of Mr. Sinister, participated in secret government programs like the Hound program, and even appeared in various multiverses. Regardless of the reality, his nature remains unchanged, a cold-blooded predator, lurking in the shadows, waiting for the opportune moment to strike. Sabertooth's existence makes one wonder, if all moral constraints were removed, would humanity be no different from a bloodthirsty wild beast? Behind Victor Creed's ferocious exterior lies a fighting machine honed through countless fierce battles, where every sense and reflex is pushed to its limit. Sabertooth possesses incredible strength. He can easily lift or hurl heavy objects like cars, and is capable of directly confronting Wolverine without being at a disadvantage. His fighting speed is unbelievable, allowing him to unleash a barrage of attacks with near instantaneous reflexes. His agility and mobility make any chase a nightmare for his prey. Furthermore, Sabertooth's senses are his most fearsome weapon. His extremely sensitive sense of smell allows him to track targets from miles away, while his hearing and night vision enable him to operate perfectly in the dark. This makes him a nearly inescapable predator. Sabertooth's true terror lies in his exceptional regenerative abilities. His healing factor allows him to regenerate tissue, organs, and even broken bones in a short time. Even seemingly fatal injuries cannot keep him down for long. He can survive extremely destructive situations. His sharp claws and teeth act like natural blades, capable of tearing through metal and the bodies of his opponents. In some versions, his skeleton is reinforced with adamantium, further increasing the danger of each attack. Sabertooth also possesses extraordinary stamina, able to fight continuously for long periods without losing form, and is almost immune to toxins, diseases, and harsh environments. However, he is not invincible. Sabertooth often acts more on instinct than reason, making his tactics sometimes lacking in deep thought. This can be exploited by opponents with superior strategic minds. Sabertooth's history is filled with blood and violence, each victory a testament to a cold truth. He fights not just to survive, but to assert his position as the ultimate predator. Victor Creed's battles are not simply conflicts, with Sabertooth's greatest adversary being Wolverine. The two have faced off in dozens of classic confrontations, with the outcome often favoring Sabertooth. He once brought Logan down with brutal blows, even tearing apart his opponent's body when Wolverine was weakened. In Mutant Massacre, Sabertooth is one of the Marauders' main assassins under Mr. Sinister. He participated in the Morlock Massacre, defeating Gambit and many other X-Men members, leaving behind a battlefield stained with despair. Sabertooth further demonstrated his superiority when he clashed with Wendigo in a fierce battle beneath the Arctic ice. He not only won, but also turned his opponent into a trophy, an act that clearly showed his wild and extremely ruthless nature. Sabertooth even led versions of himself from across the multiverse, creating an army of destruction. He defeated and murdered formidable figures like Daken, Kid Omega, and many other heroes, escalating the conflict to an unprecedented scale. He once took down famous warriors such as Iron Fist, Luke Cage, and Psylocke. Despite being pursued by forces like Bishop, Maverick, and the X-Force, he miraculously survived on numerous occasions. Sabertooth is also known as a notorious serial killer in New York, spreading fear throughout the city. Even when defeated or cornered, he always returns, more ferocious, more insane. This is what has made Sabertooth a symbol of primal fear, a being that even the strongest heroes must be wary of facing.
Remember to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon, and turn on notifications to watch the latest videos. Thank you very much.
Now we'll talk about Gorilla Grodd. Gorilla Grodd is one of the most terrifying and unique supervillains, not only because of his overwhelming physical strength, but also because of his intelligence far surpassing that of humans. Hailing from Gorilla City, a gorilla civilization that evolved thanks to the effects of cosmic rays, Grodd is the epitome of both science and mutation. where strength and intellect reach rare heights. However, his insatiable ambition drove Grodd away from his homeland. He was exiled not because of weakness, but because his overwhelming desire for dominance struck fear into the entire community. From there, Grodd embarked on a path to conquer the human world, nurturing a ruthless goal of wiping out humanity to build a guerrilla empire under his own rule. Unlike those who rely solely on brute force, he possesses incredible psychic abilities, capable of controlling thoughts, manipulating wills, and inflicting hallucinations on his enemies. These powers transform him into a formidable strategist, always several steps ahead of his opponents in every plan. Grodd frequently clashes with the Flash, creating battles that are not only about speed but also intense intellectual duels. While Flash represents hope and agility, Grodd embodies coldness and calculation, willing to sacrifice everything to achieve his goals. Grodd is also a familiar member of the Legion of Doom, a group of the most dangerous criminal minds. Here, he is not only a powerful warrior but also acts as a strategic mastermind, contributing to plans that threaten the entire world. Grodd possesses incredible strength, enough to shatter concrete, lift and throw heavy objects like cement mixers, and even crush opponents with his immense physical strength. He once defeated Monsieur Mala and withstood high-speed attacks that ordinary people could not survive. While not the fastest, Grodd's reflexes are sharp enough to repeatedly keep up with Flash's movements, something seemingly impossible. Grodd is also incredibly durable. He can withstand high-speed impacts, resist gunfire, and even endure blows from Superman in some situations. This allows him to maintain an advantage in prolonged battles. But what truly makes Grodd superior is his intellect. A scientific genius from Gorilla City, he is capable of developing technologies far ahead of their time, from weapons that transform humans into gorillas to devices that amplify psychic abilities. Each of his inventions serves his ambition for control and domination. Grodd's true strength lies in his psychic abilities. He can read minds, manipulate the will of others, create illusions that disorient opponents, or unleash devastating direct attacks to the brain. But that's not all. Grodd can also lift objects with his mind, create invisible shields, even possess the bodies of others, or absorb intelligence through ruthless methods. In some versions, he even reaches the ability to manipulate matter, making his power even more unpredictable. Grodd's senses are also enhanced, combined with his sharp teeth and resistance to sleep-inducing effects, allowing him to maintain a state of readiness for battle. However, Grodd is not without limits. Despite his immense physical strength, he doesn't possess the extraordinary regenerative abilities of some of his opponents. The power of Gorilla Grodd, each of his feats, reflects a terrifying reality. Grodd's longest-standing enemy is the Flash. In numerous confrontations, Grodd did not hesitate to use his mind control abilities to turn Flash into a puppet, even in some situations touching upon the power of the Speed Force by absorbing energy. Despite being imprisoned many times, he consistently escaped. In the Legion of Doom, Grodd often served as the strategic mastermind, sometimes even taking on the role of deputy commander. Under his leadership, this criminal group repeatedly pressured and defeated the Justice League, and Grodd even confronted iconic figures like Superman and Batman. By creating sophisticated illusions, he made Superman believe he was being threatened by kryptonite, weakening his strength and fighting spirit. At the same time, Grodd could control a multitude of other individuals, turning them into tools to attack larger targets, transforming the battlefield into a dangerous psychological labyrinth. He once defeated Monsieur Mala, another highly intelligent gorilla, and absorbed his opponent's intelligence in the most terrifying way. Meanwhile, he continuously developed technology to serve his ambition of domination, controlling the entire central city for a period of time, turning it into his own territory. Despite enduring Flash's high-speed punches, Grodd repeatedly survived and returned, proving that his will was almost unbreakable. What made Grodd special wasn't the number of victories, but how he achieved them. He didn't need to be physically stronger. He won before the battle even began, right in the minds of his opponents. When Sabertooth and Gorilla Grodd faced each other in a direct confrontation, Grodd had the upper hand overall. However, Sabertooth possessed almost superhuman regenerative abilities and sharp claws capable of inflicting serious damage. In close combat, he was a true nightmare. However, Grodd excels in pure strength and durability, having withstood high-speed attacks from the Flash and even stood firm against pressure from Superman. Grodd's reflexes are also quick enough to avoid being completely overwhelmed in direct combat. Grodd isn't the type of warrior who rushes into battle instinctively. A genius, he will exploit his psychic abilities from the very first seconds, turning the battle into a mind manipulation rather than a simple physical confrontation. This is where Sabertooth falls into a disadvantage. Grodd's psychic power surpasses any conventional defense. He can read minds to predict every action, control minds to render opponents incapable of resistance, or unleash direct attacks to the brain causing pain and paralysis. While Sabertooth has some resistance to mind control, it's still not enough to fight against an entity that has manipulated even more powerful characters. When overwhelmed mentally, Sabertooth's physical advantage is almost completely neutralized. If necessary, Grodd can even use telekinesis to attack from a distance, suffocating the opponent's body or destroying their brain. In a more extreme scenario, he can even possess or absorb Sabertooth's intellect, ending the battle in the most brutal way. The battle might begin in a desolate area, where Sabertooth charges in with intense predatory instincts. Meanwhile, Grodd maintains his distance, silently probing his opponent's mind. As the battle intensifies, Sabertooth may inflict significant wounds, but Grodd quickly retaliates with psychic attacks and invisible forces, causing the opponent to become disoriented. Hallucinations of Wolverine or traumatic memories can cause Sabertooth to lose control, creating a fatal vulnerability. Grodd gains complete control. Sabertooth, however ferocious, cannot withstand the absolute manipulation of the mind. In just a moment, Grodd can force his opponent to submit, then finish them off with overwhelming physical and psychic power. In a situation where the brain is completely destroyed, Sabertooth's ability to recover becomes meaningless. Sabertooth embodies primal brutality, but Gorilla Grodd is a nightmare on a higher level, where power is guided by intelligence and control. And in such a battle, the one who masters the mind will always determine the outcome. Gorilla Grodd is stronger and will win.
What do you think about this battle? Please share your thoughts in the comments. Thank you all very much.